Huey, welcome to Below the Belt podcast. First of all, how you doing?
Good, thank you. Yeah,
So, you've been a busy guy. Just
yeah,
recently fought in the World Box Cup,
yeah.
and that was
Well,
in Sheffield, right?
yeah, Sheffield.
How was that? How did that go? You fought against a talented lad in Patrice, but just
Yeah,
tell me about the experience.
yeah. It was a good experience. Like the whole week leading up, doing the media and that, like talking.
Was there a lot of media leading up to it?
There was like a whole day of we did like a media thing where we went
Yeah,
around speaking to like different like people about like newspapers and that.
yeah,
And yes, like that was a good experience. And then like the whole week leading up to it, like you were training alongside while my opponent
yeah.
like in fight week, which is not usual. You don't
Mm.
normally do that. So yeah,
Because I think that there were a lot of eyes on that fight, weren't there? I think especially with
yeah,
the Paris Olympics coming up.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
probably odds of both of you being on the GB squad.
yeah,
And I think you said you'd fought before.
yeah,
You've probably
yeah,
sparred quite a bit
yeah.
as
We
well.
spar week in week out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what was the build up like then fighting a fellow GB squad? I've always wondered because I know it's happened before in other
Yeah.
GB squads. How does that work when you're fighting a fellow GB squad member? Like, do you just stay away? Do you talk to each other like in the
Yeah, it was
build
a bit
up?
awkward
Do you give a
actually. It
bit of
was
banter back and forth? How does it go?
like in the runs in the morning that like you would.
You're actually running together as
So
well.
that's what I mean. You run in the morning together, and then like you train in the midday, and then you sparring in the
Yeah.
afternoon. So like
Yeah.
you see each other all day, and
Okay.
like so like in the runs in the morning and that you would say right, like so you see each other
Mm.
and just speak to each other throughout the
Yeah. Yeah.
sessions,
Yeah.
but like nothing too friendly. It was just like because you knew you'd
Yeah.
come across each other, so it
Okay.
was like
And then from a coaching perspective, then obviously you
yeah,
both got coaches from the GB squad.
yeah,
It's going to come down to tactics quite a lot, then I
yeah,
guess, right? And I
yeah,
think especially with you and Patrice, it was a really interesting clash of styles.
yeah,
Like I think he enjoys fighting on the back foot and being a
yeah,
counter puncher, and you are all out aggression and
yeah, all
attack,
that
right?
aggression,
Which, like you said to me earlier, he probably expected that and he could prepare for that to some extent. So he didn't have that initial shock factor of you being right up in his face,
yeah,
right?
exactly, yeah, that's exactly that. Like I'm I'm aggressive, I'm out there, like,
Yeah.
and then he's more of a picks his shots, but like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
it matched up well
Yeah.
for a good
It
fight.
was definitely a good fight and it was a close fight. At the
Yeah,
end of the contest, do you think you could have maybe nicked it? Because it
yeah,
was close.
yeah, definitely. I thought I could have nicked it. I think three of them had it level, and then there was two of us that gave
Mm.
him by 1 point.
One thing that I thought often in that fight may have gone unnoticed with the judges and maybe previous fights, but it's something you do quite a bit is land the shots to the body, especially I think it's
Yeah,
the right uppercut to the body. You
yeah,
go for it and it lands quite often, but again, judges have different preferences, right, in terms of what they count as like obviously it is a
yeah.
scoring shot,
In
but
the
does it
amateurs,
catch
yeah,
their eye as much as the
yeah,
headshot?
probably not
Because
as
you
much.
landed quite a few of those body shots, right?
Yeah, like that's right. Yeah, I like going to the body.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think it's quite clear if you were to watch me.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure if the judges pick up on them as
Mm.
much as
Mm.
like the the head blows.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah,
Okay.
in the pros, I think they'll pick on a
Yeah,
bit
yeah,
more.
yeah. I can imagine. But I've got more questions on that World Box Cup, but we'll leave that for a little bit later in the podcast. What I want to do first is go right back to the beginning
Yeah,
of where it all started for
yeah,
Huey and the whole kind of boxing scene. So where did it start? What age did you start boxing? Why did you start boxing? How did you first step in the gym? Was it off your own back? Did your dad push you into it? What was it?
I think it was always in the family. Like with my brothers and that. Like I have
Mm,
two other brothers, Jay and Raf. Like one older, one younger, and
mm.
like from about 6 or 7, like we would always be like sparring in the living room,
Ah,
like with
okay.
gloves. So like, or doing pads with my dad in the living room. From like,
Did your dad box?
yeah, my dad did box.
Oh, he
Yeah,
did.
yeah,
Okay, so that's where it came from.
yeah.
Okay.
So like, and my granddad's, they're both into it as
Oh, okay,
well.
so it's in the family.
Yeah, it's in the
Yeah.
family, and then that's what I mean. Like for me, it was like I just been brought up
Mm.
like around it, and
Mm.
then yeah, just got into it.
Okay, so were you the only one of your brothers to actually take it up though and
Nah,
fight
they
competitively?
both boxed. My
Mm.
older one he had to stop because of an injury,
Mm-hmm.
and then my younger one he was good as well, but
Yeah.
he's took a different direction. In
Yeah, which
work and that.
I think happens, right? I think this is the thing when a lot of people start boxing, especially in the amateurs. I think as you start going through the age groups
Yeah,
and you get older, there's a lot of other, not just distractions, but you start seeing a lot of different other doors that you could potentially walk
yeah,
through. So to do what you're doing is still staying on that path
yeah,
must mean there's some kind of obsession with it that you
yes.
wanna
Addictive,
stay
isn't it?
down that route, right?
Yeah, definitely. I enjoy it. Like everything about it, from the training to like the fighting, like everything. Like I
Yeah.
love it. So
Even now after all these years, you don't get bored.
there's
You don't.
nothing like it, is
It,
there?
it's true. There is nothing like it because I think there's one thing. Even when people start boxing, obviously I used to
Yeah,
box amateur a long time ago, and I think even other people, I see people in their 40s now who still have the itch and they
yeah,
miss fighting, and it's a very addictive sport,
yeah.
right?
It is. There's nothing like it. Fight week, fight day, and then the fight itself. There's
Mm,
just nothing else like it. Nothing gets
no, I
the
completely
buzz.
agree. And the first, and I don't know if it's the only club that you've boxed for, Christ the King.
Yeah,
Is that the only amateur club
yeah,
you've boxed
yeah,
for?
yeah. That's the only club um my dad and
Is he your coach now? Then your dad?
yeah, my dad's my
Okay.
coach. Yeah, and so Christ King was about, don't know, about 30 years ago, and then
Mm.
he like
Got it going
yeah,
again.
got it going and
Okay. Yeah,
restarted,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then in 2012, and then I think had my first fight in 2013.
Okay.
So
Oh
yeah,
wow.
then been going ever since.
Okay. Awesome. So like, how does that relationship work then with you and your dad?
Ah,
Like, because I know
yeah,
obviously it depends on what you're both like, what his personality is like, but obviously it can at times be a bit of an emotional sport as well, right?
yeah,
Depending
yeah,
on whether you win or you lose. I know you probably haven't had too many losses,
yeah,
but how is that relationship boxing wise? And
yeah. It's got
how are you outside of boxing as well?
yeah. That's what I mean. It's like I feel like it's two different like sort of relationships. The outside of boxing, it's dad, and then
Mm.
inside the gym, and that it's like
Oh, okay. It's a
coach.
good way of doing it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like you want to kind of you don't want to
Mm.
bring what like them both in, like dad and trainer, into the gym. You want to
Yeah.
like separate them a bit. Like
Ah, okay. No, no, good stuff. So he doesn't get on your nerves or anything like that.
nah, nah, nah. He
Mm.
can be.
Yeah.
He can do. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. But no, it's gonna say obviously you've been at Christ the King then since you
Yeah.
started, and obviously you're a I think are you a 4-time national champion,
Yeah.
3-time Tri Nations champion.
Yeah.
When did you win that first national title? How old were you?
I was 15.
15.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
15.
And how many bouts have you had now, amateur?
I think I've had 60,
I was
60 odd.
about to guess around that
Yeah,
mark.
about 60 odd. Yeah.
60 odd. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you lost track now?
Yeah, it's got to
It-
that point, I think.
It's
So,
getting to that
yeah,
point now.
yeah.
Okay. Blimey, that's impressive. And obviously, how old are you now?
21.
21. So okay, that's still like relatively young.
Well,
In boxing.
yeah, in boxing, yeah, like for like the amateurs and that, yeah, it's fairly
Yeah.
young. So
Okay, so obviously we've got the ABAs that are coming up
yeah,
in April. So you're a 4-time national champion at the minute.
yeah, definitely.
Are you going to go for the 5th?
Yeah, going for the fifth, definitely. I feel like I don't think anyone that I know of has
Yeah.
won 3 back-to-back senior ABAs.
Oh wow. Are there been years back to back as
Yeah,
well?
so I'm 2-time back-to-back senior
Yeah.
ABA champ, but I'm gonna go for my third
Yeah.
at different weight class as well. So I'm gonna be hopefully 2 weight,
Oh,
3 times
what? So
senior.
are you going up a weight? Sorry.
I'm
did you
going down.
Oh, you're going down a weight.
Yeah.
How come you're going down a weight?
Just because of the GB pathway, like they only take the weight below,
Ah,
so they don't
okay.
take the weight I won at last year. Now they take the
Okay.
weight below.
So that's what I was going to ask. I'm probably going back a bit now to that World Box Cup.
Yeah,
So I know Patrice being on the GB squad as well as yourself. Was that a deciding factor in terms of qualifying for the Olympics, or is that still open and can it be decided in other ways? How does
yeah.
that work? The qualification.
The qualification. There's another qualification later on. Patrice will go to the next qualification, and then after that there'll be another qualifier,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully
Okay.
get to go to that.
Are you both competing for the same weight class?
Yeah,
You are.
yeah, we're both competing. For
And
that.
what weight class is that?
63.5.
63.5. That's light welter, isn't it?
Yeah, light
Is it
welter.
light welter, light.
Yeah, super lightweight, light welter.
How long have you been? Or and you usually fight at 66. Sorry,
I
is
used
it?
to fight at 67. That's welterweight.
Yeah.
So I've come down to light welter.
Are you gonna struggle to make that weight at 63?
I don't struggle to fit. I feel like
Yeah.
I make it
Yeah.
quite comfortable. Like if
Okay.
anything, I need to put on a bit more.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's like I kind of need to be a bit above the weight, and
Okay. That was the only other thing I was thinking, because obviously in the amateurs you tend to obviously
you're
you
weighing
win
on
one.
the same day as well.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can't cut too much. Like the pros, you see them, they can cut like
Yeah, yeah,
more.
yeah.
Whereas
It's
it's the
not
same
about
day.
that in the amateurs, is it? Because sometimes, like, again, if you get through one round, you're into the next. So you're
Exactly.
semi having to hold your weight for.
For the weekend. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, definitely. But yeah, tell me about those previous ABA national titles. Because one of the fights that I watched, I think it was probably one of your most recent national titles that you won. And you're gonna have to. Probably gonna butcher the name. I think I've got it wrong. Is it Cameron McKay? Was
yeah,
it?
Cameron
Oh,
McKay.
I've got it
Yeah.
right. Yeah, Cameron McKay. That was an all-action fight, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And what I find is, I'm sure anybody you meet in the amateurs now are gonna know who you are. They're probably seeing you
Yeah.
on YouTube and whatnot. And it looked like he knew who you were, and he looked like a massive guy at the weight as well, very like muscular. And obviously, the way that you fight is all action, all out aggression, dominate the center of the ring, put
Yeah.
them on the back foot. And I think he made the brave decision to try and meet fire with fire, didn't
Yeah.
he? And try and
Yeah.
meet you in the ring, which sometimes, and I got to give you credit for this in all the fights that I've watched, if someone does want to meet you in that center, you're still not phased, are you?
Nah.
You're still like, well, okay, then we're going to fight in the center.
Yeah.
It's either I push you on the back foot and you fight on the back foot and try and beat me,
Yeah.
or we're just going to go to stand here and go to war in the center of the
Yeah.
ring.
Yeah.
Is that what your mindset is when you go in?
If someone comes to fight me, like I like it. I like to work inside in the pocket with like
Yeah.
like smart aggression.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll,
It's definitely smart. Yeah, I can tell it's just not
like,
you going in there
yeah,
throwing
yeah,
punches. Because one thing I often see you doing as well is, and again, I haven't fought for a while, so I'm probably getting this wrong. But there's a lot of like catch countering going on,
shielding,
and
yeah,
yeah, and you do it very well because, like I said, it's not something that you've just done once or twice a night. It's something that you do
yeah,
quite often, and there's a lot of, even like in that fight with Patrice, I was just watching it and I could tell it was technically at such a high
yeah,
level, but it was so fast paced as well.
yeah,
I bet your mind must be going through a million things as you're fighting though, because you have to fight at that pace, right?
yeah, and like the catch counters as well. You got to anticipate them throwing and you catching, you coming back.
Yeah,
But like I like the catch counters, especially they work on the inside, nice.
yeah.
And with like you said, Cameron, I needed him because
Mm.
he came to fight, and we both worked inside.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Had you met each other before in the ring, you and
No,
Cameron?
nah, I hadn't met Cameron. Nah,
Ah, okay. But were you familiar with him? Did you know who you were going to be meeting in that national final, or?
I'd seen him the week before in the semis. So I knew like what he was about. Like I knew he was a strong lad.
Yeah.
But like, I was,
Okay. But if anyone wants to watch that fight, please tune into YouTube, because that is an all action,
yeah,
all out war, isn't it? But just speaking about your fighting style, obviously it is all out aggression, all action, try and dominate the center of the ring, push the other guy back.
yeah,
There was a quote that I found, and it reminded me a lot of your fighting style, and it's probably something that you're going to be able to resonate with quite a lot. And it's a quote from Customato, Muhammad Ali's, not Muhammad Ali's trainer, is it Mike Tyson's trainer, Customato. And he said, the hero and the coward both feel the same thing, but the hero uses his fear, projects it into his opponent, while the coward runs. It's the same thing, fear, but what you do with it that matters.
yeah,
And I feel like sometimes, in essence, that's what you're doing, right? Because I feel like boxers, to some extent, you feel a bit of nerves when you're going into the ring.
Every boxer does that.
Yeah, no matter what you say, I think there's always that bit of nerves that's there. But I feel like when you get in there, you try and project that onto the other person by
Yeah,
straight away just rushing into the center of the ring
yeah.
of the ring and putting them on the back foot,
Go
right?
straight into the fire, like I said.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like, yeah, straight.
Where has that style come from?
And well, just watching like my favorite fighters like Chavez, Duran, them boys. They're all aggressive. Like
Yeah,
their punch output is a lot, and I
yeah.
just feel like that's where it came from. I lost my third fight trying to box on the back foot. And
Oh,
then
really?
I lost my fourth fight on the back foot. And after that, I was like, something's got to change.
Ah, okay, so that's interesting. So yeah, probably those those first fights that you have, you are trying to understand
Yeah,
what
you
your
take a lot
style
in,
is,
and
right?
then first 5 to 10 fights, you take a lot in. You
Mm.
learn a lot
Mm.
because obviously it's your first couple
Yeah.
of fights, so you take everything in, and then after them 2 losses, it just completely changed style.
Yeah, and realize it started working for you.
Yeah,
And to have the style that you've got, I assume you have to be super fit, right? Like your
yeah,
cardio cannot be
yeah,
slacking. So how do
definitely.
you keep those fitness levels at a bit? Because in some ways you're gonna have to be fitter than every opponent you face because you have to try and keep that tempo up until the last battle,
Yeah.
which I think you do. But yeah, is there anything special that you do training wise to keep those fitness levels high?
No, I wouldn't say there's anything special. It's just I like what I do, so I enjoy
Yeah,
it, and so I train hard, and
yeah.
that's probably why I can keep it up.
Yeah, no, fair. Play. That it's the first thing that I thought is when I saw the pace you were fighting at. Because there's no feeling out process when you get in the ring. It's a case of get straight in
Well, we
there.
only have 3 rounds, don't we? Like in the amateurs, so there's no feeling out process
Yeah,
really. You've got to get stuck in.
yeah. No,
So I
of
do.
course. Yeah, no, fair play to you. And just talking about your train, how many times a week are you training at the moment?
6 days a week.
6 days a week.
Yeah,
Yeah, just the one day off.
yeah, just the one day.
So you go up to Team GB in
Yeah,
Sheffield quite often, right?
yeah.
So how does that work? How often are you going down there at the
So
moment?
like week on, week off. So 1 week at home, 1 week.
Oh, so it's quite regular.
Well,
You're
it's like
down
a
there then.
Thursday to Sunday, and then we'll be back at home, and then the following week will be Thursday to Sunday.
When did you first get into Team GB?
June 1st.
Okay.
But I was on trials. I've been going down there since.
How does that process work about getting onto team?
Oh,
Obviously, you got to win the
it's like
national title, right?
yeah,
What
so
else did it involve?
national title, and then you have like 3 trials, and but like you have to do all 3 trials, so it's like a proper process, and then yeah, then after that they just let you know how you get on. They let you know how you get on after I think 2 trials, and then they can send you for a third trial,
Yeah.
but you kind of sort of that's
Okay.
sort of on.
Okay. So it's definitely by no means an easy process in
Nah,
terms of
it's definitely a process.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fair play. So obviously you're training 6 days a week. You're in Sheffield every other week.
Yeah.
What are some of the sacrifices you've had to make growing up? Because as a teenager, especially growing up,
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
distractions. There's a lot of different paths. Like you said, like your brothers have taken different paths in life.
Yeah.
How were you able to stay on that one path that involved boxing and nothing else? Like, how did you keep away from the other distractions? What sacrifices did you have to make?
Yeah. I just enjoy it, like not going out when you're at school and all your mates are going.
Yeah, because you'll have mates who are like going
Yeah.
out, like
Or your mates.
partying or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
You had to completely stay away from that.
Yeah.
Could you do a bit and just not drink or like what was
So
it?
I don't drink anyway.
Yeah.
I'm a pioneer. Me and my granddad, we're pioneers. So
Okay.
like it's like a little like community that just don't drink.
Oh, okay.
So I don't drink
Interesting.
at all. And then so like I weren't really fussed about the partying then, because half it's like I don't drink and they all drink. So you're
Yeah. So
not
it's not really your
yeah.
type of vibe, is it
And
then?
then
Yeah.
like the training, and you're getting up on a Sunday morning
Mm.
training.
Yeah.
And they're not, so like you just don't work. It's got to be one or the other, ain't it?
Yeah, if I'm honest, it's nothing you'll ever look back on and regret. Because I think the things that you're doing now
Yeah.
it's main character shit, so to speak, isn't it? It's nothing you're gonna regret going, especially where you've got to already at this
Yeah.
stage. But I feel like even myself, like I went to university, I had my fair share of nights out. When you look back, you think all it really does is delaying you moving forward in
Yeah.
life, and you are kind of wasting your time essentially. So yeah, I think
I
you
think anyone
definitely won't
older
regret it.
always says that. They say
Yeah,
like you won't regret.
100. Yeah, you honestly will. I'm not that old. I've just turned 30,
Yeah.
but yeah, you definitely won't regret it because, like I said, the stuff that you're doing now, like you said, is you love it. You got a passion for it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you got some big goals which will come on to speak
Yeah.
about. So yeah, you're doing some main character stuff at the minute, which is what I think everybody should try to do. I think sometimes people think it's a bit beyond them, right? And
Yeah.
it's not for everybody, but it actually is. It's just whether that's a path you want to take, and how committed you are to the process of getting to where you want to be. And
Yeah.
like you said, you're committed to the
It's hard
process,
work,
right?
yeah.
You're
Hard
committed to the
work.
graft 6 days a week,
Yeah,
and it's only going to take you in one direction. But
exactly.
yeah, so just talking about your goals and your aspirations. Obviously, you're amateur at the moment.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about the professional game. I don't
Yeah.
even know
Yeah.
if that's on your mind or not.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's something you would have thought about. But the Olympics, then, is that a
Yeah.
realistic possibility at the moment?
Yeah. At the moment, it's out of my hands. It's
Mm.
into someone else's, and then, but yeah, it's still like realistic.
Is it a case of, obviously, when they make the decision of who would go, like you or other people in your weight category, would it be based on who they think can come back with a medal? Because, like you said, let's say it's you and Patrice, and you've fought each other twice. He's won one, you've won one. How would they make a decision in terms of who goes to the Olympics?
Oh, well, yeah. So like, yeah, it's basically who they think will bring back the medal.
Oh, okay. So it is to some extent on their opinion,
Yeah,
right?
but they gave it to, they kind of made us fight it out for a bit,
Mm,
like for the position, like the other week. So like they
like in the
kind of,
World Box Cup.
so
So
they so
so
they
they know
couldn't,
it's
yeah, so they couldn't say, oh, like we like they have like favorites, because it's just down to
yeah,
you
yeah,
two.
yeah.
So
No, of
it's
course.
completely fair. It's completely
It is
fair
a
that
fair
way
pro.
anyway.
And
Like,
obviously, they're the best people to judge, right?
yeah,
Like,
so it takes it out of their hands then, don't
yeah,
it?
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like, well, use fight, and then
yeah.
so yeah,
Okay. What other bouts, fights, or competitions coming up could swing the favour? Could the ABAs could that potentially sway things into your favour?
potentially, yeah. But like I said, at the moment, it's kind of out of my hands.
Mm,
Patrice has got his qualifiers.
yeah.
How
How
hopefully he
he
does
does
well
in.
in that.
Yeah.
But if
Okay.
not, then hopefully I'll go.
Okay. Just looking back to that fight with Patrice, obviously it was a narrow fight. It was narrow on the scorecards. What do you think you could have potentially done better? Because I know obviously you always try and reflect and think, okay, what
Yeah,
can I do the next time? Is there anything that you think you could tactically do differently? Because I know it's a weird one when there's somebody you've fought and sparred before, and
yeah,
because you just know each other like the back of your
yeah,
hands, right? But
yeah.
is there anything that you think you could do differently?
Um, I feel like I could just be a bit smarter with the pressure
Yeah.
probably. But then, yeah,
Yeah, but I guess let's say hypothetically you were to go to the Olympics
yeah,
in Paris. As much as somebody could watch you on YouTube and see that aggressive fighting style, I don't think there's anything like the shock factor of it actually being
yeah.
there and right in front
Exactly.
of you,
That's
right?
half of it, ain't it? It's
Yeah.
the shock factor. I
And
think.
like you said, I bet some people watch that and think, yeah, I can go toe to toe with him. But the one thing they may not take into account is that you've already taken that into account, and you're going to make them fight it out in the
Yeah,
middle of the
well,
ring.
I've fought like that for 60 odd fights,
Yeah,
ain't I?
yeah,
And that'd
yeah,
be their first time fighting
yeah.
like that. So, like, yeah, it's the shock factor, I think.
Okay, no, interesting stuff. But let's just talk about some of your sparring partners that you've had as well. So you're sparring with a current European welterweight champion,
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, in Ethan James.
yeah,
So how is that going, and how is it going sparring with people of that caliber? And how do you handle yourself?
yeah, it's good. Like, Ethan James, good, tricky opponent. Um, yeah, like, learn a lot from him. Like, he's probably a little bit more experienced than me, a little bit heavier than me,
Mm.
taller. So, like, you want to, like, spar people like that. You don't want to
Yeah,
spar
yeah, yeah.
people below you.
Below
So,
you, yeah, because you're never going to progress,
yeah,
right?
exactly. So you're only
You
learning.
always want to spar people that are better than you,
Yeah,
because sooner or later you're gonna either get to that level or eventually surpass it, right?
exactly. That's what you want.
Yeah,
That's what you want. So yeah, learning off him.
that's good. I think one thing I've noticed is, and I probably expected it when I asked you about the sparring, and it's the same when I ask other boxers who I've had on the podcast. Is obviously sparring is sparring, right? It's
Yeah,
completely different to a fight, and I don't think boxers like to blow their own trumpet. And again, it is sparring, so you're not going
yeah,
to stand there and be like, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
I'd done him in sparring, this,
yeah,
that, and the other. But no, it's good to know you're sparring with these guys even at this stage, and he's professional, right?
yeah. He's
Ethan.
professional. Yeah. So
Yeah, and as a European champion, that's no easy feat. So that can only give you confidence, right?
yeah, exactly. It gives you confidence coming away from it, thinking,
Mm.
"Oh, I've sparred European champion.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, and then the other thing I saw on social media, and obviously I mentioned this to you before. So I know that you'd sparred him, but I didn't know that you'd. I think you've actually fought Adam Azim before in the
Yeah,
amateurs, right?
yeah,
So are you guys the same age?
yeah. We're the same age. Yeah,
Okay, so how did that go? So I think you may have lost on points to
yeah,
Adam in the amateurs,
yeah,
and obviously you've sparred him. And again, I'm just going to ask you ask you the
yeah,
question: how was it with him? Because obviously, let's face it, at the minute he's meant to be the next big thing,
yeah,
right? And prob more than likely a future world champion. He's a European champion at the minute.
yeah,
But how did you find it being in there against him?
yeah. Great experience for me. Like certain stuff he does that I've never seen before.
Like what? Like what? What
Like
would you?
he done this knee knocking thing. I've never been knee knock. No, like just like
Oh, like
old
knocking into your knee.
yeah, like old style like
Okay.
tricks, and then like
Very subtle things. Yeah,
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 that
yeah.
sort of
That no,
thing.
probably nobody else would
Yeah,
pay much
no one else
attention
would
to.
like pick up on.
But how do you know that wasn't an accident though? Did it happen more than once?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then
Yeah,
he's just the way like he moved around the ring and that like
yeah.
he's a good lad like.
Okay, first.
But like learned a lot from him like his
Yeah.
sharpness
Have you
and that.
sparred a lot of rounds with him as well?
Yeah, as when we were both on the England squad,
Yeah,
um, we were like on camp with each other every like month, and we'd be
yeah.
sparring. So
Okay.
yeah, we sparred quite a lot as amateurs, not as much as pros, but
Yeah.
sparred him. Yeah, like you said, like
Oh, okay,
last
so
year.
you have sparred him since he turned over to the professional
Yeah, I
game as well.
sparred him last year,
Okay,
but
so that's quite a testament to you then that they think they will get some good sparring out of you,
yeah,
even now someone of his caliber. But
yeah,
I think the good thing probably about you is, and something that I can take from you already is, I don't think you're somebody that would be in awe of another boxer in any way. If you're going to go in there, you're going to think it's a chance for you to
yeah,
impress, right? It's a chance for you to show your credentials
exactly.
and your ability.
It's all learning as well in
Yeah,
sparring. Everything's like learning, so just try to take as much out of sparring as you can. Like
yeah.
I don't mind who I spar.
What did Shane McGuigan have to say about both of you? Was he impressed?
I think so. I think he said it was a good spar. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think he enjoyed the spar.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. And just looking at your training, obviously you're training 6 days a week. It's something that you've grown to love. Have I seen that you've made like a gym at home as well?
Yeah,
I saw in the background. Was it Malone's gym? I think it
yeah,
was.
yeah.
So what is that? Tell me about
That's
that setup.
So mom's got like a salon, like a
Mm.
clinic, and
Yeah.
then in the back of it there was this like just like storage room.
Yeah. Ah,
And
okay. It looks like a big storage room. If
it
that's what
was yeah, it was like a massive like warehouse
yeah,
more.
yeah, yeah.
And then we cleared it out, and then we've turned it into a boxing gym. There's like a room in there
Yeah.
as well if like I wanted to stay. So
Yeah.
like just gives me that like that free like space that if I
Oh,
whenever
you've
I
actually
can
got a room
train.
to stay in there if you
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
sleep and
If I want to
stuff.
sleep in there, but
Ah,
gives
okay.
me that like whenever I want to go to the gym, I can kind of go to the gym.
Yeah.
I don't have to wait for like times or anything.
Ah,
So
okay.
yeah,
That's interesting stuff. So obviously we've talked about the amateur scene a little bit.
yeah,
I'm sure there's going to be some promoters out there who they seem to be quite in the know of who's the up and coming prospects in the amateur scene. So they may well have heard of you. I don't know, but have you got one eye on the professional game?
and not at the moment. I think
Yeah,
it's set on like GB. Like
yeah. Focusing on
yeah,
GB
focus
team.
on that. I want
Yeah,
some experience
that's
in that.
perfect mindset to have. I think
Yeah,
there's no point
don't
looking.
yeah, not too
Yeah,
far
yeah,
ahead.
yeah,
Don't want to look too far ahead at the
yeah,
moment. I think I'm at GB. I want get up as like the most experienced as I can
mm.
there, and then hopefully later on down the line I'll start looking.
Okay, no, I think that's good. And I think age wise as well. Obviously, you said you're 21 years of
Yeah,
age, and so you can tell there's no rush for you to take that leap into the pro game. You know, or that's even if you want to eventually. You may even not want to take that leap into the pro game. You may want to stay. Stay.
I'll definitely go for it.
Oh, you definitely want to go
Yeah,
for it. Oh,
yeah,
okay, no,
yeah.
that's fair enough. I was like, you know, like who are the likes of is it Mario Kindle, and he just carried on as an
Yeah,
amateur till he was like
yeah,
what in his late 30s, I think.
yeah.
Um, Funnily enough, I just seen an article on Manny Pacquiao the other day. He was trying to get
Come back.
licensed to cut a
Yeah,
fight back in amateur. It was
yeah.
45 years old. I don't think
I,
they'd license him, would
yeah, they
they?
didn't license him. Yeah,
Yeah, which
but
I think what is a cut off 40. I think it
I
is.
think yeah, 40's cut off. I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Okay, that's not too bad then. So, do you know what? I've got a few questions here, and I want to make sure I cover them all
Yeah.
because they're questions that I was genuinely interested in asking, and I didn't want to forget any of them. So, growing up, obviously, well, you went to Christ the King
Yeah,
School in
cross the
Coventry,
king.
right? So, how did you balance kind of education and boxing? Because I was slightly like you, obviously, but nowhere near in terms of I had such an interest in boxing when I was a teenager. I didn't care about school, didn't care about education,
Yeah.
and I was just tunnel visioned on the boxing. Was it like that for you, or was your mum and dad making sure that you were still kind of focused on the education front as well?
Well, yeah, your mom and dad was still like keen on staying focused on the education, but like, yeah, when I was at school and that, I was probably constantly thinking about boxing
Yeah,
and like at the like training after school, training before school. It was constantly on my mind. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean? So then after school, like I'd normally do a session before school, and then I'd come after school, and then I'd just have like like a nap,
mm.
and then I'd train again. So everything was like boxing. So wake up boxing,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
go school, back to boxing. So
Okay, yeah, yeah. So you were living and breathing it. So it was all
yeah,
centered around boxing, so
yeah.
to speak.
And then like all my mates and that, they all knew
Yeah,
about, so like at school taught boxing as well.
yeah.
So
Did you win that first national title when you were at school?
yeah, went in my last year of school, year 11. Yeah,
Ah, okay. So what was the reaction when you managed that at school?
yeah. Well, I'd got to national finals like all the years before,
Oh, okay.
so they knew like what it was about, like the nationals and that. And then once I finally won it, yeah, like everyone kind of clocked on
Yeah,
that was serious as
yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Ah,
and the
okay.
teachers and that knew I was
They
serious
knew
as
you were
well.
doing
And
something
yeah,
pretty special with it. Ah, okay. And how have your mum and dad been along the whole? Obviously, your dad he's into the boxing. He used to fight
yeah.
himself. How have they been? What was your dad's initial plan? Was it for you to take it as far as you can take it, or was it just a case of have a few fights, see where it goes, see if you enjoy it? And
Yeah,
what did your mum say about it?
I don't know. I don't know what my dad's plan was like.
Mm,
I don't know if he wanted me to take it on or if he
mm,
just wanted it as like a self defense sort of thing.
mm.
And then my mom, yeah, I feel like she's she's your mom don't want you to fight, does she?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, of
like
course.
she's like,
A little bit hesitant.
yeah, she
Yeah,
don't want me. She probably she enjoys it for me.
yeah,
Like she knows it like makes me happy, so she
yeah.
enjoys that. But she probably deep down probably would rather me do something else like football. Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah. No, of course. But at least it's not you and your two brothers doing it,
Yeah,
right?
at least there's
At
only
least it's
one
just
that.
one of you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
there used to be like when like three of us boxed, like we could all box in the same show, and she
Yeah.
used to say it was like the worst.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah,
I can
'cause there's
imagine.
three of
Just
us.
constant nerves. Like,
Yeah,
not a
that's what
case of
she
nerves
said.
and being over it. You just,
She probably like more nervous than us.
yeah.
Like, so I handle my nerves all right when I fight, but like, yeah, she,
Do they come to watch you regularly as well?
yeah, every all the time,
Okay.
like every fight they come to watch.
What about your dad? 'Cause I know you're probably competing in other countries at times as well.
So he corners me when I box for Christ King, but
Yeah,
then
he
when
can't for
yeah
GB,
he
right?
can't when I
Mm,
box for England and
yeah.
GB he can't.
Okay.
But, so it's like funny, quite like seeing him on the sideline.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
used to him in my
Yeah, yeah,
corner.
yeah, yeah.
So like when you see him like in the crowd, you're like, yeah, it's funny.
What's he like being in your corner?
Very,
Is he calm? Is he
yeah,
quite like animated? What's
yeah.
he like?
He's calm, but he's like, yeah,
What
straight to the point, just
Yeah,
sort of
straight to
thing.
the
Like,
point. Is that what you prefer? Does he ever give you
yeah,
a kick up the ass when you need it and stuff?
yeah, when I need it. But
Yeah,
like that's me because we know each other so well.
yeah,
'Cause, like we live together and that.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
he
yeah.
knows what I need if, like
Mm,
he knows if I need to go win that last round. He knows what to say to me for me to
yeah.
go to win that last round. So that's why I feel like we get on so
Okay.
well as
Oh, that's good. Like
like
you're on the same wavelength, so
yeah,
to speak.
yeah,
Okay, no, it's interesting. And then I know I've touched on this so many times, but I just find your boxing style so fascinating with it
yeah,
being like just complete. All I've seen aspects of it when I was an amateur. The closest person that I can think of to Tom and I was at, and you may have heard of him because he turned pro, and I'm pretty sure he only lost one professional fight, and then I haven't heard from him since. Was someone called Sam Bowen. I don't know if it rings a bell to you. Yeah, he's closer to my age, I think. But yeah, he was all out, like
Yeah.
dominate the center ring, push the other guy back, and I think he was honestly like 10-0 or something in the pro game. I think he beat oh, who was it? I can't remember his name now, but yeah, it's a very similar style. But yeah, who are some of the people that you look up to stylistically when it comes to boxing? Who are
It's
your favorite boxers?
like the old school, like Chavez
Yeah.
and them sort of boys, like a smart pressure.
Okay.
So it's
Oh,
not,
do you like watching the old school boxing? Then?
yeah, like if you slow it down, you can proper see their
Yeah, yeah,
skill
yeah.
level. Like nowadays, I don't think that many people like have that sort of style. It's
Mm,
more like standoffish. But
yeah,
other than like the obvious Lomachenko, he's
yeah, yeah.
on another
Unreal.
level,
Yeah.
ain't he? So like, I mean,
So how do the coaches on Team GB then? How do they handle you in your style? Because obviously you're on Team GB, so
yeah,
they must think highly of you. But you're not really much of a counterpuncher.
yeah.
It's a rare style,
Yeah,
right?
it
Like
is. I think
where,
they just try to give you pointers, so
yeah,
like put you in the right direction.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
like they
Be
like
clever with the pressure, like you
yeah,
said.
like
Yeah,
yeah, be clever with pressure. So like if I'm doing something and getting hit, like they'll just give me another thing to do. Like so like they just want you to be smart with pressure.
yeah.
That's what they say. So like be smart with it.
Okay.
So they don't try to change me, which is good.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, nice. Because so how long have you been going down to Sheffield then? Like every other week, you said.
Yeah, so I had my first trials, I think, was last December.
Yeah.
So I've been going up to Sheffield since then on
Okay.
trials, and then got on in June,
Yeah.
and then I've been going down every other week since.
Okay. Good stuff. Um, yeah, I'm just having a look at some of the other questions that I've got here. But yeah, let's move on to because I want to get your opinion on some upcoming big fights as well in the profession. Do you watch much boxing?
Yeah,
You
all the
do.
time.
You love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big boxing fan. If
Okay.
there's boxing on not on the weekend, it's kind of like,
Okay.
what am I doing this weekend?
You know, you're similar to Gully, who I had on the podcast recently, in the sense of I thought all these newer boxers coming through wouldn't care so much about the old school boxing, but obviously
Yeah,
you still appreciate that as well, right? Obviously the game has evolved quite a bit,
yeah,
especially style. It's just so different when you watch those
yeah.
old school fights, right? But one which is coming up, which I want to get your thoughts on, is the Josh Taylor and Catterall fight, which I'll have some good needle in. I wouldn't be surprised if you'd sparred them, to be honest. But yeah, what do you think of that? First of all, the first fight, who do you think won it?
First fight, yeah, I would have just gave it Catterall. I think he was just smart with his work.
Mm,
But I just don't think Josh Taylor was on it. He weren't on it. I think he was off.
mm.
So I just on the first fight, I'd say Catterall probably nicked it.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you as well. I think Josh had a point when he said, obviously he was a champion, and when you're the challenger, you've got to physically rip it away from.
Yeah,
Obviously, my thought as soon as the fight finishes that Catterall has won it.
yeah,
What Taylor was saying is that Catterall coasted too much in the
yeah.
last few
Maybe,
rounds
yeah.
potentially, which maybe the judges
And he
didn't
held
like.
on a lot as well.
Yeah, he was spoiling a lot of Josh,
Yeah,
and I do think judges don't like that. So
yeah.
upon reflection, I still think Catterall would, but upon reflection,
It was closer.
maybe that weighed against Catterall to a
Yeah,
certain
maybe.
extent, that he kept trying to spoil instead of fight. Because obviously judges want to see you
Yeah.
go at it and who's the best. But like you said, I don't think that was Josh Taylor's best.
Nah,
But I'm just wondering whether he's on the decline or not. What do you think?
I don't know. I wouldn't say he's on decline yet.
How
I
about
think
he's getting into his early
yeah,
30s,
I
isn't he?
think he's got to be early
Yeah.
30s. Ain't
But
he?
he's been in some wars as well.
Yeah, he has like Progress. That was a
Yeah,
war,
Progress
wasn't
of war.
Yeah.
Obviously, he lost to Teofimo Lopez as well, didn't he?
Yeah, I think but the rematch I think will be different.
Yeah.
I think he's.
Do you reckon he'll up it now?
Yeah, he'll definitely up it.
He's a vicious guy as well, isn't he? He's probably one of the. He was a very good amateur, wasn't he? Did he win
Yeah,
gold at the
he was on
Olympics? I think.
TV, Yeah. Did he win gold? I think he got a Commonwealth. Did he?
Was it? Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I remember him turning over, and like I knew straight away when he turned over, he
Yeah,
was going to be decent. He was going to be good.
has that pro style, don't he?
He
Sort of.
does, yeah, and he's got that nastiness as
Yeah,
well
he
that a lot of
is.
people
Yeah,
don't have. Do you know what, it's weird now? Like talking to you, you seem so calm, you seem so relaxed, but your fighting style is so different. You turn into an absolute animal as soon as you get in there.
yeah,
Is that like a switch
yeah. As soon as
that
you
you
step
think
through
you've
them
got?
ropes, I think as soon as you go through them ropes, it's a switch.
Is it?
Just
Do you have
changes.
that mentality of is calm and collected outside the ring, but switch on as soon as you step
Yeah,
through
you
the
got.
ropes?
Yeah, as soon as you step through, it's switch on.
Because in some ways, like it's probably the same for a lot of boxers. It's like a bit of a personality split
Yeah,
where you're chilled, relaxed, because you can't be obviously firing on all cylinders all the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
But then the second you step in that ring, you've got to turn into
You
a
got to be
bit
a
of an
different,
animal.
yeah, a different person. I think
Yeah,
so. I wouldn't say you're the same person in
yeah,
the
yeah,
ring
yeah,
as I am not like now
yeah, yeah,
outside the
yeah,
ring. When you come out the ring, you're still a bit like pent up. So
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
but yeah, just two different people. I think inside and
Okay.
outside the ring.
And this, I guess, this is the other thing that I wanted to touch on as well, and which reminds me, how much would you say a box, especially at the level that you're fighting at? Again, let's just take that World Box Cup
Yeah,
fight, for example. It's fought at a very high level.
yeah.
It's very technical, very fast paced. How much of boxing is a mental game, do you think, other than just the physical aspect of it? Because a lot of fighters, they do lose the fight before they even
Yeah,
kind of get in the
exactly.
ring. Someone could, I was guilty of sometimes watching my opponents before I got in the ring with them, and probably um, worrying more so about what the opponent's going to do
Yeah,
than what I'm going to do, which I'm sure I would have done if I was ever
I
to
think
face you. I would have like, fucking hell, he's going to come straight at me for 3 rounds. But yeah, how much of it do you think is a mental game?
it's massive. Like 80%, I'd
Yeah,
say. It's mostly mental. I think
yeah,
like you said, like a lot of people will overthink before they get in there,
mm,
watching
yeah,
their
yeah, yeah.
opponents
It's the
overthink.
worst thing you can do, right?
Yeah, the worst thing is worrying about what they're gonna do.
Mm.
Just
Because what I think one thing that you do need to think is the other person's going to be thinking the exact same thing, and if you're
yeah,
too busy worried about them, you're in some ways not believing in your own
yeah. You
ability,
gotta
right?
gotta think what you're gonna do
Yeah,
in the fight. You can't be focused on what they're gonna
yeah,
do
yeah,
too
yeah.
much. But
Do you have to do your research though on your at this stage
yeah,
of your career,
yeah,
especially?
definitely at this stage you
Yeah.
have to like because there's so many different styles and that.
Mm,
So like you wanna have some sort of like
mm,
engagement with them, like knowing their
okay.
style.
So, when is your next bout? Will it just be in the ABAs now in
Yeah,
April?
probably I think they start on the 16th of April.
Is it hard to get matched up now
Yeah,
with
like
your record?
with club shows and that.
It's probably next to impossible, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't fight in any club shows anymore. It's just either championships or tournaments. GB will put me in.
Why is that? That it's not club shows. Is that because it is too hard to get matched up?
Yeah, and like yeah, you don't want to go on the club shows and like take a bad decision, for example, when you don't need to. Like
Mm,
so, but yeah, also that like getting matched up is pretty hard
okay.
on a club show.
Who would you say is the toughest opponent that you've faced so far?
The toughest opponent I
Well,
faced.
let's go for the top two toughest.
What, like, as in hardest fight?
Uh, let's say hardest fight. Who's your hardest fight and skill level technically? Who is the best opponent?
Technically, skill level, probably Azim, but
Yeah.
I think I was in there probably too early. I feel like he was
Mm.
already 10, 15 fights ahead of me.
Okay.
So I feel
So
like
I think
his experience
he was
played,
amateur very early as well,
yeah,
wasn't
his experience probably played a role
he? Mm.
in that. So technically, at the time, him,
Yeah.
uh, hardest fight. Oh, I don't know.
Tough one.
Yeah, tough one. There's a few.
There's a few.
Yeah, there's a few. There's not one that stands out. If you know what I mean.
Do you know when you face somebody in the ring, what do you prefer them to do? Do, do you want them to play into your hands and go on the back foot? Or no, sorry, do you want them to play into your hands and go on the front foot and meet fire with you in the center of the ring? Or are you happy chasing them down for the fight? What? You probably don't want to give this away. Actually, to be fair, I don't know if I should even be asking this, but do you like having a shootout basically in the center of the ring?
I don't. Yeah, it's like I don't mind a fight in the center ring, or if I'm stalking them when they're on the back foot. Like I
Yeah.
don't mind whatever. I don't.
You're happy to
Yeah, I'm
adjust
happy
and
to do either.
and I think that's probably the other thing that I learned obviously through my own boxing and the fights I had, but also watching others and some of the greats, and then even you just look at Floyd Mayweather, the amount of different styles that he's had to face, and at the end of the day, you need to be able to show that you can adapt to whatever
Yeah, you
style
need
it
to be able
is.
to
So
adapt. You have variety to your game. Like you need to be able to box. You need to be able to fight.
yeah,
You need to be
exactly.
able to. If
Like
you
you
need
said,
to take a step back, go back. Like,
because yeah, you'll fight people who are front foot, people who are back foot.
yeah,
I don't think there's anything wrong with you sticking to that front foot style, but it's
yeah,
just winning on that front foot style against all different type of
yeah,
opponents. Right, 'cause some will run and
yeah.
they'll try and hit and run. Some
Mhm.
will want to meet fire with fire, and
Exactly.
it's a case of just being prepared for that, right?
Yeah, you got to be prepared for all sorts of styles. But like you said, that's why you do your research because you
Mm.
want to know before how you get in there. Like, will he go on the back foot or will he come forward? But sometimes they surprise you. Sometimes they'll do something different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's just completely comes down to that. As soon as that ball goes,
Mm.
like you just gotta be focusing
Switched
on
on.
your game. That's why
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you don't be thinking about what they're gonna
What
do.
they're gonna
'Cause
do,
you don't know what
yes.
they're gonna
I
do.
feel like the second you think of what is my opponent gonna do, I think you kind of lost the
Yeah,
fight at that
yeah. I
point.
feel like
And
you
the
just
reason I know that is because I've done it and I've
yeah,
lost, and it's yeah, I've
just
got in
overthinking.
my own head. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And like you said, it's just I feel like if you know you haven't taken shortcuts, you know you've put the work in. Maybe it meant I was taking shortcuts, but I think if you know you're putting the work in, which it sounds like obviously you
yeah,
are, you've got nothing else to do other than have faith in your own ability, right?
yeah.
And obviously, I think when you have
You don't want to
got
question yourself.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And if it's a case of you at the end of the day you lose to a better man on the day, then so be it, right? You come
Yeah,
back better and stronger.
you learn from every loss.
Exactly. And just speaking about learning from every loss, which is obviously the best attitude to have. What would you say has been your toughest moment of your amateur career so far,
My toughest moment of amateur career.
or a hurdle that you think has been difficult to overcome,
Uh,
or
probably
or
just
even a setback or something where it's been a bit of a difficult.
probably I had when I was a junior. I had European selections,
Mm,
and I didn't. Another lad got picked over me, but
mm,
I was the current national champion,
yeah.
so I was a bit that
I
took.
think especially when you're younger, it's harder to
Yeah,
take, right?
so like I was national champion, so I feel like I felt like I deserved to be taken, but then they chose someone else and not me. So that's probably
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
That was pretty hard.
And how do you think you deal with them? Because I think the thing that I've learned, or not that I've learned, so the thing that I've experienced in boxing the few fights that I had is it's the best feeling in the world getting your hand raised, right?
Yeah,
But it's the worst feeling in the world when it doesn't get raised.
yeah,
So how do you deal with that? How do you bounce back from losses? Which in the amateur game, it's very
yeah,
easy to experience a
yeah.
loss, right? Unless
Everyone,
you are Lomachenko or
yeah,
Golovkin or Alexander Usyk, who had ridiculous records. But
yeah. But everyone loses in the
yeah, yeah,
amateurs.
yeah,
Like, but yeah, after a loss, I feel like it's just learning. It's
yeah,
all learning, ain't it? Like you can't take it to heart too
y-
much
yeah, yeah,
and think, oh, I got robbed here, I got robbed
yeah,
there. You gotta think,
mm,
what went wrong there? Like, what can I do better here?
yeah.
Or what?
I think this is the thing in boxing. It's often very easy, like when you lose a fight, to play the blame game, and there may even be blame sometimes in certain fights to knock at other people's doors as to why you lost the fight.
Yeah,
Because some people are like, it was my coach, or it's because this happened with training, or it was that. At the end of the day, you just have to try and find a way to win, and if you don't, it's a
yeah.
case of okay, like you said, what
Just
can I
take a
do
step
better
back.
next time? Yeah, take a step back, reflect.
Yeah,
What can I do better?
exactly. It's just watching it again, seeing what you can do better, seeing what you done wrong, what you done right as well, because you probably done things right in it as well.
Mm,
But like just analyzing the fight, going over
yeah.
it.
Okay. No, interesting stuff. And I know we kind of tailed off a little bit. I know we're going to talk about some of the big upcoming fights, and we've just kind of diverted off talking about you again, which I've got no complaints about. But another fight which I want to get your opinion on was the Alexander Usyk and
Oh
Tyson Fury. Let me give you my opinion first, but
yeah, go on.
obviously I think your opinion's a lot more relevant. As obviously, I'm just a spectator nowadays, but I think at the minute, for me, it's truly a 50-50. And I think the only thing that makes it a 50-50 is the fact that I think if Usyk was about 2 inches bigger in terms of
Yeah,
height, I think he would dominate like how he has in all his other fights. Because I feel like technically he's just unreal. I think, like you said, it's so easy to lose in the amateurs, but I believe he lost very few in about
yeah,
300 odd
yeah,
fights. And yeah, I think Fury's saving grace may be his size, that he can lean on Usyk,
mm,
make it messy, make it uncomfortable for him. He's got his long reach. So the
yeah.
size difference, I think, will obviously play a big part. I genuinely can't call it, if I'm honest. What
Ain't
do you think?
Um, I don't know. I feel like Usyk's background, like you said, like where's he double Olympic champion?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I think that helps. Then that plays into his hand, especially like Fury. I feel like he's on the decline a bit,
I
especially
did
after
think that. Mm,
the Nagano fight. I feel like he was
yeah,
just not the same, but he might surprise us. He might,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I think Usyk. I've got Usyk.
You got Usyk.
Yeah, even though he's smaller and that, I feel like his amateur experience, like his pedigree,
Yeah,
is just like so good.
yeah,
Like he'll know how to cope with anyone,
yeah,
even the leaning on, the smothering. I feel like he's got
yeah.
it all sorted.
Yeah, that's what I feel. Again, I feel like the best boxers are able to adapt, right?
Yeah,
Which is
I
what
feel like
Usyk
he
always
just
does.
will. Like I feel
Yeah,
like he'll just win.
yeah. No, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be surprised
But
to
he
be.
is small, like you said. Like I think what is he 6'2", 6'3"?
Which isn't small, obviously, but if they're
For
heavyweights,
heavyweights,
I think
yeah,
with the modern day heavyweight, obviously, you think of
yeah,
Mike Tyson used to be like what 5'11",
yeah,
but yeah, modern day heavyweight, you ideally need to be about 6'4", 6'5", right?
yeah. So he is small for a heavyweight nowadays.
Yeah, no, 100%. But it's good to see the heavyweight scene, I think, popping off a little bit again.
Yeah,
I was like,
and it means all the bouts will be with one person.
yeah, which very rarely
Very
happens.
rare, you know.
Yeah, other than the old days.
But I
But
think that's good for boxing,
yeah, no,
especially
hundred
now.
percent. It gets to, you never know who's top of the tree,
Yeah,
right? Like in a particular weight division, and there are so many weight divisions now. But I think obviously with a lot of the big fighters going over to Saudi Arabia,
yeah,
now, in a way is good because they're throwing so much money at it. The big fight, the big fights that need to be made, which aren't being made, the boxers can't say no now because there's too much money. They're not
yeah,
going to say no to the money,
exactly.
kind of
So
thing.
it's making the fights happen, ain't it?
Exactly. So, and obviously it is a prize fighting game. So, yeah, obviously you're going to take it, right? But
Yeah.
I wanted to get your opinion as well on something else. Is this crossover of you get like Misfits boxing
Ah,
and YouTube, but you as a boxing purist, you must absolutely hate it, right?
yeah. No, I feel like as a boxing fan, like I don't see like I'm not a
It's
big
not the
fan of
appeal.
it, like of the misfit side of
Yeah,
boxing, but like for like bringing other people into boxing,
into
it's
the
good.
like another audience.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
another
yeah.
audience, it's good. Like bringing them into it,
Mm,
like because obviously like they probably don't don't watch boxing as much as like
yeah,
I would. Like a
yeah.
so yeah, I think it's good in that way, as in bringing another audience into
Mm,
it.
yeah, I think the I'd watched a couple, but the last one that I watched, and it genuinely is the last one because it was that bad, was the Fury KSI and was it Logan Paul and Dylan
Oh
Dennis.
yeah,
I don't know if you watched it. I literally, as soon as the last fight finished, I had to look in the mirror and say, I've just wasted about 3 hours of my life.
yeah,
The standard was awful. And I think that's where they've let themselves down. I think that's where people are starting to realise. I think fair play to Jake Paul because I think he puts in the
yeah,
effort, right?
yeah,
But again, you get. And I'm not even taking a piss. I don't think I know you would beat him if he's
yeah,
and I think Eddie Hearn said this to him. He's like, you can fight one of my novice pros, but like amateurs who were amateur
yeah.
stars, they will run rings around you.
They will, yeah.
It because it's
There's just levels to
there is levels, and I think the way you're schooled as an amateur boxer is so different,
yeah,
right?
definitely,
You're just taught in such a pure way that
yeah.
you can't just pick up overnight.
Like
Like,
some boys have been training since they were like 5, 6, and then
yeah,
these boys are coming in at like mid 20s trying
yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah,
It's not this, like them boys that have learned at 5, 6 have got that whole
exactly.
got pedigree behind them.
Exactly, and he's calling out people like Canelo, which I don't think Canelo would ever
I don't.
entertain unless he was getting paid a shitload of money.
Yeah.
I can't see it, but interesting stuff. But yeah, no, I think that's everything I wanted to ask. To be fair, it's been an interesting conversation. I think I'm going to be following you for a while now. I
Thank
think,
you.
and I'm sure a lot of people will after watching this. So you've got the ABAs coming
Yep.
up
April.
in April, and I'm sure they'll be on YouTube, right? Because
Yeah,
they
they'll
they
be
do
on
that quite
YouTube or
regularly now.
BBC iPlayer maybe. I
Yeah,
think, as well.
iPlayer as well.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Are there any opponents that you're expecting to face in that, or
No, no one particular.
not specifically? Yeah.
Just
And you, what weight category are you entering that at?
light welter.
Like 63, right?
Yeah, 63.5.
Okay, so yeah, that's something to look forward to. And the Paris Olympics, I know it's still out of your hands and up in
Yeah.
the air, but when that's in the summer, right?
Yeah, I think that's July, is it?
So there's actually not long till
Yeah,
till
not
that,
long.
right? So when does a decision get made on that? Do you know, in terms of who's going and who's not?
It'd be so the qualifiers. So if you qualify, so there's qualifiers in about 2 weeks, and then there's some other qualifiers after that.
Okay, there's more than one set of qualifiers.
Yeah,
is it?
yeah.
Okay.
I think there's more qualifiers. May time maybe April May time. So yeah.
Okay.
Qualifiers.
Sounds like it could be a busy year for you, but I think, like I said, your mindset, I think you're approaching it in the perfect way. Whereas, like I said, I think in boxing, there's always other things to think about, distractions, thinking too far down the line. And yeah, it's a really mature mindset. You're thinking about, obviously, the ABAs, getting the job done there. There's no point probably even thinking about potentially like the Olympics if things do go well. I guess it is just win the ABAs, right?
It's just the next fight by fight, and that's where you got to look at it. You can't look past any fight.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I think you got a wise head on your shoulders. But no, thank you for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it. And hopefully I can get you back on again, because like I said, I think you're going to be in some more interesting competitions and exciting fights, and got an interesting career ahead. So nice one.
Cheers, thank you.